you know, if you're eating unhealthy and in large amounts, your blood pressure and your overall health is going to be affected. High cholesterol levels, heart disease as a result of elevated triglyceride levels, type 2 diabetes, and gallbladder disease. So these, just like the other disorders, they're all things that are directly caused by your eating or lack of eating habits. So all of, like, it's just important, like, all of the food that you eat and all these things, when you take it to such an extreme, it very much affects your health.
I have a question for the previous slide. When it said that they eat at a celebrated pace, why is that? Is that because like the faster you eat, the less you're likely to get full? Because I know they say that if you eat slowly, you'll feel full. So is that like what they're trying to get? Not feel full and consume as much as you can?
I honestly don't know. I don't remember seeing anything about why that's a factor in this. But like you said, the non-reaction is along those lines. It's also just the control factor of being in control of exactly what you're doing. And if you're stressed, you know, and sometimes like you're not completely paying attention to how quickly you're doing something. So if they're not thinking about how much food they're eating, you're just going to keep going, like you said, until you feel so full that you're sick. Yeah.
Sorry. So then, would you say, just to follow up on that, so binge eating would be considered kind of like a maladaptive kind of like coping mechanism, or no?
Yeah, it's definitely.
Okay, then just a second question, because the AD, the affecting the daily habits, because like I'm just kind of confused, because like would someone like, I guess like, because I kind of imagine someone like, you know, kind of like the end of the day, or would they have like snacks in their bag? I don't know, like I'm trying to like picture it.
They can. It can be at the end of the day or at all times of the day, right? Mostly, the reason why I brought that up, the ADLs, is if it actually interrupts what you should be doing, right? Or what you can be doing in your life. If your normal lifestyle is to hang out with your friends every other weekend, and now this idea of because you're eating at an accelerated pace, or because you eat 3 or 4 plates of food, you feel like you can no longer go out, not only because of your weight gain, but because of how fast your friends are going to see you eat and how much your friends are going to see.
That's where that embarrassed, like hiding eating habits is embarrassment, because like that you might stop doing your daily activities because you don't want other people in public to see your eating habits and what you do on a daily basis. So you then restrict yourself and kind of confine yourself to your own environment, and then that's when it would really start to affect your daily health.
If you've been eating, if you're just eating because you're bored, like it doesn't affect your life, but you're just
No,
I mean like excessively, like I'm not hungry and I'm gonna eat this whole pizza because I'm bored.
No.
I feel like it can develop into that, but
If that's something that you would do like regularly, or you binge eat a whole pizza for a lunch and then have,
and then won't do that again for another 6 months.
yeah.
But what if like that's just in my everyday habit afterward, there's a cake and eat a cake?
I mean, there has to be a psychological component, right, for it to actually be I mean, it could develop into that. What are you bored? Do you feel lonely? Are you feeling depressed because you're lonely and that makes you bored? Is it something that you do because you're upset, or because you got laid off from a job, or you lost the social circle that you used to be a part of? So something that's really important is that there has to be the psychological component to it, that you're doing this because.
Also, the things that we're touching on are kind of the most general terms. The DSM for psychology, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, goes a lot more into depth of each of these things. And like that, it'll have time periods, and this behavior has to continue at this severity for this specific amount of time for you to qualify. That's where that non-specified eating disorder comes in, because like that, you might have eating behaviors that don't necessarily fit into this, but it's clear that it's not good for your health and that it is affecting your daily life. There are a lot smaller and a lot more complicated detailed criteria that we're not really discussing here because they go into such depth.
And these are kind of like the main ones, right? But there can be like subcategories or milder versions of. Okay, so we're gonna go into some statistics. It's still really important to know statistics, right? I know we hear statistics and it's like, oh, I don't like that, right? A lot of numbers and percentages, but We really tried to make it something that's kind of more, yeah, relatable to you all, right? So, obviously eating disorders can affect men and women, right? But it is, the majority of it is reported within females, right? But women are 2.5 times more likely to develop an eating disorder than men. NIMH is the National Institute of Mental Health. So you can always Google that, and they have a lot more statistics and go more in depth. But I want to just stay kind of like up there, pretend the other 2 bullet points aren't there for now. Why would anyone care to venture a reason or an explanation as to why perhaps women are 2.5 times more likely? Yeah.
Or more emotional.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
We're gonna talk about
Yes. We are not more emotional.
No. I think it's, yeah, I think it's a patriarchy thing. But I was gonna say that it's probably because, again, with patriarchy, men are more embarrassed to admit that they have an eating disorder because it's seen as like a woman's problem, and that they're afraid that they'll be seen as weak or whatever if they admit that they have an eating disorder.
Yeah, that, and it's also women have more societal pressure put
Yeah.
on them. You know, you're constantly bombarded with pictures of what beauty's supposed to look like, how you're supposed to look. You're supposed to have like a 1-inch waist and other unrealistic goals, and that plays a large part into how someone's gonna feel if they work out, 30 times a day, like an incredible amount, and they still can't reach that goal. It's gonna take a psychological effect, and then that's what contributes to it becoming a disorder.
Absolutely. Did you want to? I'm sorry. What's your name?
My name is Ariel, like the mermaid.
Okay.
I wanted to jump on what Susie said, that they don't say it, and also it's like, I feel like when we see more big men than big women, and I feel like that's not being into this statistic. I feel like they're not counting. They're only counting the skinny people, not the skinny people, but the ones that throw up and do all that stuff. Because I feel like there's a lot more bigger men than, I feel like men tend to overeat, and they don't do the vomiting and stuff. So I agree with her. I feel like that's disproportionate because the men are not even, they're not looking at the men as, okay, why are you so big? Are you big because you're a man, or are you big because you did that to yourself?
Absolutely. And that's why it goes underreported, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the diagnoses, right, are mainly women because society considers this to be a women's thing.
and that it's more acceptable for a woman to admit to. Like all of the things that you guys said, like what you're saying about, men really would be affected by this too, all plays into the same things like that Susie was saying about how it's seen as more acceptable for a woman to admit to it. And even like with men being weak, like if a larger male admitted to having an eating disorder or reported an eating disorder, it might be seen more negatively and I guess more shameful than a woman, where for a woman they might say, oh wow, let us help you, but a man they might kind of look down upon it and view him as weak.
Manna, why are you saying that? That's not what we say.
I just feel like if women have an eating disorder, they're more likely to get help. And people are more likely to jump into help.
Yes.
Whereas with the men, it's just like, if you're fat or you're overeating or whatever, and you're like, oh, just go to the gym.
Yeah.
Grow, man up or whatever. Like, they don't view it as a psychological issue, whereas the woman is like, oh my goodness, you have a problem. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like from earlier what we were saying about society, about basically what you see on television, beauty is this, beauty is that, and people bombarding themselves with walls. They saying, oh, I'm not beautiful, so they keep on eating, surrounding themselves, suffocating themselves. When in reality, beauty is of the beholder, which gives them a better grasp of saying, I'm beautiful, no matter what size I am, and help determine them, begin the self-confidence. Because actually some of the commercial clothes like Victoria's Secret, they actually gave on to women of more weight, and for years my sister saw that like now they finally did that. They're promoting that people anyway doesn't determine beauty.
Yeah.
But they're
And we're actually
pushing
gonna
it.
get in. You actually touched on like those campaigns. We're gonna get into that in a little bit.
That in the media is becoming more acceptable to show people all we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say also for men, they're less likely to like diagnose it or like themselves, like self-diagnosis or like actually admit that it is an eating disorder, because I think some of them do recognize that they are engaging in that behavior, but through my experience at NIDA, I've heard several people say like, oh well, I'm doing this, but it's not really, they don't identify it as an eating disorder because it does create that stigma that it is weakness for men. So they know that it's happening, but they don't acknowledge that it is an eating disorder.
They don't recognize it, and they don't get it.
How would you know if a guy would have an eating disorder? Would it be the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, these aren't, like, the symptoms and everything that we spoke about are not gender specific. So it would be the same general criteria like that. It's the weight or the percentage of like BMI and all that kind of thing comes into play. So it's not like a specific number, it's more of for each individual person.
This isn't so much about gender as it is like just in general. The idea that like eating disorders amongst like skinnier people, like it's to the extremity of like their ribs showing or whatever, for example, like it's taken more seriously than like if for example, if a woman who was a size 16 drops to like a size 12 in a matter of like 2 months, it's seen as like congratulatory, like,
yeah.
Wow, look at you look excellent, like you look great. And so like we really, when it comes to eating disorders, they often neglect like thicker people who like lose weight as like more of like a positive than like someone who's already skinny going to like the point of bones showing, right? Like, and yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I felt like I had to throw it out there.
It is, and that's definitely a societal problem. But that is also, like what you're saying, with the criteria in the DSM, like that concept of a bigger person or anybody losing a certain percentage of their body weight in a small amount of time is one of the criteria that is discussed in more depth.
Right.
But that's definitely a societal problem, like you said, where somebody drops a lot of weight very quickly, and just because they're still not, they don't look sickly, that they are congratulated on that when they really should probably be concerned.
That doesn't mean that there isn't an issue. It's just how society portrays it.
Yeah, and just like as a general, you guys have probably already said or will say, but like, that's why a lot of the times, personally, I won't tell someone like, wow, you've lost weight, like as if it's like a positive affirmation. And I don't take it positively if someone told me like, oh wow, you lost weight, because then it feeds into this whole idea of like losing weight is a great thing, right? And so like, I don't know, I think this is just for anyone in the room. If you see someone that has like lost weight or gained weight or whatever, just like let it, don't even think of it, like if you think it's like a compliment or whatever, just don't even comment on it, period.
Right.
Because
You don't
either
know
way
what's
it's
going on.
negative, right? Like,
You don't know what's going on in that person,
Yeah.
right? Or they might perceive it as, wow, you thought it was fat,
Yeah.
right? Type of thing. So thank you, Dr.
Yeah, actually, I think that was, like this will be the second, but at the same time, sometimes it's also good to give some, some good, like, I mean, to say some good thing about somebody who actually lost weight. For example, let's say that person is kind of always complaining that, she's fat or he's fat, and then he needs to actually do some exercise to make her lose weight. And if this is that person's goal, and then actually that person started to go to the gym or do whatever to lose weight, I think it's a good thing to actually, to observe it.
I guess it would depend on.
It depends on the individual, and I think
No, I
society-
mean-
Right, the goal, yeah, exactly.
because
That's
you
what
should
I'm
tell that
saying. It's
person,
situational.
like
If
the
that
way that
person-
you are now, like love yourself the way that you are now, because you're always gonna find something wrong with you, right? Like, for example, my brother has an 8-pack, right? And he still
Okay.
finds stuff to look at that's like,
Right, so
oh
to,
no, it's
to
still.
kind of bring it in and kind of wrap it up so we can move a little bit because we're kind of running a little bit behind. I get both points and I think they're both valid. I think it definitely depends right? If you know them intimately and you know that they're working on creating healthier habits, right? So not eating as much sugar or going to the gym 3 times a week. And if it's something healthier, they're not promoting bad things to do to their body, like vomiting, starving themselves, etc., limiting their food intake, then, oh, you look great, right? Maybe not commenting on the weight at all, right? Oh, you look really nice today, or you look awesome, you look happy, right? So, yeah, I think it is important to kind of like give that maybe.
And also just as
Comment?
a closing thing, it's very specific to each individual. So like you were saying, if somebody you know is constantly complaining about their weight and they are morbidly obese, and they do something and they work hard to get to a healthy weight, then that's different than complimenting. But like we said, to just say, wow, you look fantastic. Like that's very different than, like you were saying, commenting on somebody who is clearly very fit and almost could possibly be obsessing over their body image to then compliment them. So it's definitely a person by person thing, and it's always going to be a touchy subject.
So to move to the second point, but thanks for everyone's comments and stuff. It builds a great dialogue. So in the U.S., 20 million women and 10 million men suffer from a clinically significant eating disorder at some point in their life, right? And we know that this statistic is probably affected by underreporting, people thinking it's not a problem for both men and women, right? But it's not a gender-specific diagnosis. And it includes anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, and then the eating disorder not otherwise specified. I apologize for not knowing what the new acronym, I'm not sure what it stands for, but yeah, the EDNOS is the eating disorder not otherwise specified. The prevalence of eating disorders is similar among non-Hispanic whites, Hispanics, African Americans, and Asians in the United States, with the exception that anorexia nervosa is more common among non-Hispanic whites.
So males and eating disorders. So obviously we all know that the topic of eating disorders is in society usually focused around women, and there is definitely a lot less research on men and eating disorders in terms of research and statistics and everything. So that being said, eating disorders are on the rise in recent years. Anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder are becoming more prominent in the male population. 40% of people who are diagnosed with binge eating disorder are males. Today, boys are receiving more pressure about their physical appearance, and men in the media are portrayed as lean, muscular, and that is affecting young boys' views on their own bodies. So all of these things are clearly issues that are going on. And even with the eating disorders being on the rise, and that could, it's definitely something that's always been a problem, but because of some of the social change that people are trying to advocate for, there is more reporting and more acceptance of men admitting to having it.
Okay, so we're going to move over to a national survey that shows public understanding of eating disorders as a serious illness. So 82% of respondents believe that eating disorders are a physical or mental illness that should be treated as such, with just 12% believing they are related to vanity. So that's important, right? So society in general, right, does recognize that it is an illness. I'm not sure if they recognize it more as a physical or mental illness, but it's both, right? It has to be something psychological in order for it to affect your behavior, right? 85% of the respondents believe that eating disorders deserve coverage by insurance companies just like any other illness. Right? Because in order to receive treatment, right, or therapy or CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, or if you're severely overweight or underweight, you may need to see a doctor, you may need to be hospitalized, you may need an IV of something, you may need for them to help you get back nutritionally and physically where you were or at a healthy, right? So those things, they cost money, right? To be hospitalized, they cost money. To go to the doctor, they cost money. To have a prescription or medication, that costs money, right? To be on vitamins, even though that's over the counter, that still costs money.